And now it is time to clear my throat.
Let me clear my throat.
But after I clear my throat. After I do that, and I just did, we will now watch Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. We have watched Episodes 4, 5, 6. Erin finished 6.
Mm-hmm.
You liked Episode 6, right?
Very much.
And are you curious now to find out what happens after Episode 6?
I'm always curious.
And unlike the rest of us, you didn't have to wait 30-some-odd years to do it. You just waited like a week.
Time warp.
Yep. So, are you excited about this one?
Of course.
Cool. All right. Very good. That's all I have to say about that. And I quoted Forrest Gump, even though I wasn't the biggest fan of the movie. All right. So, here we go. So, you're gonna, oh, what the hell's wrong with my...
What?
Jeez, I can't talk. So, you're going to... Next time you hear us, it's going to be at the end of the movie. And we're going to give our review of the movie. I've seen this movie 3 or 4 times. Erin obviously has never seen it, hence the name Erin the Star Wars Virgin. And then after our review, there's a bonus section where it's not a commentary, but it's our comments about the movie. Comments. I don't know why I said it like that either, but it's our comments about the movie, kind of like Mystery Science Theater 3000 a little bit. And that is it. So, we will see you, or you will hear us at the end of the movie. All right, any questions, Erin, before we do it?
So this takes place 30 years later?
I don't know. I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, fuck.
Well, you'll find out soon enough. I'm going to put it on.
Okay.
All right. So, oh, and then probably in the middle of the review or maybe before the review, I told a story about Return of the Jedi, but how much Return of the Jedi means to me just based on seeing it in the theater. So I will tell another story about how much The Force Awakens means to me because of seeing it in the theater. Again, Return of the Jedi was one of the greatest days of my life, and The Force Awakens is up there as well as one of the greatest days of my life. So I will fill you in on that after the movie. All right, I hate long introductions. I really do. I just want to get to it, so we're going to get to it. Speak to you soon.
Yes.
So, what'd you think?
I'm so mad that they didn't tell me why she has the Force.
What?
I'm so mad that I don't know why she's so good with the Force.
Well, that's what Episode 8 is for. Well, okay. So the name of the movie is what?
The Force Awakens?
Yeah. So the Force awakened.
Okay.
So that at least explains why she has it, or how she has it.
Why did the Force just randomly, like...
Well, we don't know. Obviously, we don't know yet. But they dropped some hints when she had that vision, when she found the lightsaber. If you look online, in that one scene, there are so many little things going on that just watching it once,
Yeah.
But you hear Ben Kenobi's voice in it. Ewan McGregor recorded new lines for it. So there was, at the end of her vision, you heard him say, "These are your first steps." You heard Alec Guinness say Rey, but he never said Rey in real life. They took a word that he said afraid, and they shortened it, so it sounded like Rey.
That's convenient.
So there are so many little things going on. Now, people are speculating, well, who is Rey? I mean, obviously we don't know based on Episode 7, and that was done by design. Oh, we better find out for Episode 8. So people are saying, oh, she's Luke's daughter. I don't believe that for a second.
Yeah.
I don't. It's too obvious.
Yeah,
it's too obvious that she would be Luke's daughter. Also, if she was Luke's daughter, why would she be abandoned? Why Leia probably would have felt her? Why wouldn't Han know who she was? She would be Han's niece.
Well, she thought that her parents were taken away, so maybe she was like given up or like.
No, she was abandoned on Jakku.
Right, but it was her parents that were taken away.
No.
Or her family that was
we don't
taken
know.
away?
We don't know. She was left on the planet, and she saw the ship fly away, and she was saying, "Come back."
Yeah, but she had said earlier that she didn't want to leave Jakku because her family was coming back.
Well, that's what she thinks, but we don't know yet. We don't know her past yet, and I'm hoping to find that out for Episode 8. There are rumors that she might be, Ben Kenobi's granddaughter.
I was thinking that too.
Somehow, like she has some relation to Kenobi, but it's a big galaxy. She may not be related to anyone,
or some other Jedi that we don't know about.
Right? Or she may not even be related to Jedi at all.
Maybe she's Yoda's daughter.
Maybe she's Yoda's daughter, but it would be too convenient if she was related to this person to that person. It becomes like too soap opera-ish. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, she's the twin sister of the cousin of the blah 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 blah. So it's going to be. I'm very curious to find out. I haven't read any of the rumors online. I mean, Episode 8 is done. It comes out. Episode 8 comes out Christmas. So I'm dying to know. So it's just it's just a matter of waiting. And I have friends who find the scripts online, who read all the rumors, and these rumor sites are pretty good. But I don't want to know anything. I want to go in fresh. I went into this movie fresh, and it was one of the greatest experiences of my life because I didn't know anything about it. So all of these little surprises were just like, yeah. But I have friends who just knew everything, and it was just like, how can you do that? I mean, I certainly can't. So overall, what did you think of the movie?
I think it was great.
Okay.
I'm really sad about Han Solo.
Yeah.
I mean, it really sealed the deal on Kylo Ren's, definitely not coming back now. He's definitely dark, and it's never going to go back.
It's definitely a, one of these past the point of no return, but then, Vader came back.
Yeah.
But, people are complaining already because it's like, it's going to be so predictable. He's going to, be bad, and then he'll turn good, and blah, blah, blah. But I have a feeling they won't do that. I have a feeling it's not going to repeat. Episode 8 won't repeat from Return of the Jedi, from Empire Strikes Back. At least I hope it doesn't, because it would be so predictable if it did. So I think they'll go a different way. At least I hope. The guy who's directing Episode 8 directed a movie called Looper.
Oh, I like that movie.
Yeah, so the guy who's directing Episode 8 is directing that, and Looper was very well done. It was good, not great, but it was very well done. But I loved the way it was directed. It was a very unique style. So I have confidence that Episode 8 is going to be a lot different than Empire Strikes Back, and a lot different than Episode 7. Now, J.J. Abrams is back to direct Episode 9. Another person was going to direct it, but he got kicked out, so J.J. Abrams came back. And J.J. Abrams wanted to direct Episode 8 as well, but he didn't. But now he's back to do 9. What stood out? What else stood out to you?
Adam Driver is so good.
Yeah, wasn't he great? Wasn't he great?
Oh my god, you could see just the conflict in his eyes.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that with your pupils. It's amazing.
He's an excellent actor.
He's fucking crazy.
Yeah. He and Daisy Ridley played very well off each other, especially the scene where he was trying to invade her mind and she fought back. They weren't doing anything.
And even during the fight, when he was at the end of the fight and he was trying to trying to convince her to come to the dark side, and you could just see
the rage in his face. Yeah. And then his scene.
Her too, the way she centered herself and whatever.
Yeah, she was fantastic.
Yeah.
In Adam Driver, when Kylo Ren killed Han Solo, it's just the conflict with him. And I find this interesting, what they're doing with Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren wants to be bad.
Yeah,
he wants to go to the dark side, but he's getting pulled.
Got conscious.
He's getting conscience.
That's what I said. Shut up, I'm tired.
He's getting pulled. He wants to be dark, but he's getting pulled by the light.
Right.
And it's upsetting him. Now, someone like Luke wants to be good.
Yeah, it's funny.
But he's getting pulled by the dark. So I like how they're doing that. And people are speculating about Supreme Leader Snoke, that he's the Emperor resurrected, and I don't think that would be so ridiculous. Was he a
hologram, or was he actually on that thing?
Well, no, it's interesting you brought that up. In the theaters, when we first saw him, we thought that he was a giant. It's like, who is this giant? Wow, this character is gigantic. What is this? And then you see that he was a hologram.
You didn't really tell until the end. It kind of looked like weird.
Right. In Episode 8, I mean, there's an action figure released, and I think the rumors are that he's like 7 or 8 feet tall. So he's going to be a CGI character. He looked a little cartoony in this.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping by Episode 8 they at least make him less cartoony. What'd you think of Maz Kanata?
The little orange lady?
Yeah.
Oh my god, she was so cool.
Yeah.
I want her to be like my grandma. She was so awesome.
And just the voice, Lupita Nyong'o, I hope I'm saying her name right, Lupita Nyong'o's voice was just absolutely beautiful. There, in one of the Episode 7 trailers, her line about looking into people's eyes and seeing... There was such a beautiful trailer where it had a line that wasn't in this movie.
Really?
But it was her talking about, like, I see your eyes, and I see... and it was just so well done, but it ended up not making the...
that sucks.
Not making the movie. What I found so great about this was... Well, Daisy Ridley, who plays Rey, and John Boyega, who plays Finn, were so good. And the writing and the characters. The person who wrote... Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote Empire Strikes Back, wrote this movie.
Oh, wow.
So they brought him back. But what I found so great about this was that you didn't have to have Han, Chewie, Leia, any of the original characters in this, and this movie still would have been great. That's how strong the Rey character was written and performed. Finn, Poe, Dameron, BB-8. Everybody was in love with BB-8. The droid
Obviously.
people. If you had to choose between BB-8 and R2-D2, who would you...
Damn. I think I would go BB-8.
What?
I think I'd go BB-8. He's more updated and more functional.
I would probably go R2 only because I've grown up with R2, so there's sentimental value there.
There's something about the ball, the shape of him.
Yeah.
I don't know why I find it so goddamn adorable.
It's very unique. He's a smaller droid than R2.
that
R2 dwarfs him. R2 looks gigantic compared to him.
And R2's kind of clunky.
Well, R2 is definitely clunky. Like, BB-8 was designed to be more practical, even going down the stairs, and BB-8 was practical.
Yeah.
He wasn't a CGI droid at all. So as far as, I'll give you the inevitable woman question in this, how does a character like Rey compare to other women heroes in movies, like, say, like a Wonder Woman, or how does she even compare to Leia to Leia in the original trilogy?
She definitely has more. I feel like Leia and Rey are super comparable in that respect, except that the things that Leia was restricted by was not so much Leia the character, but society at the time that the movies came out, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Leia doing certain things was a big deal, whereas, like, Rey doing those is no big deal. She has to do something even more bold and more whatever. But yeah, I loved her. She's like, you don't need to hold my hand. What are you doing?
Well, yeah. I mean, in our comments, I pointed out, I said, that's a really important line. And when I first saw the movie, I was saying, okay, like, I'm a fan of subtlety in movies, and I'm like, okay, you don't have to hit us over the head about you don't have to hold my hand. But then I thought about it, and then I read more about the movie, and I changed my mind about that because it couldn't have been subtle. Because every little girl who's 6, 7 years old and now watches that movie and sees Rey saying, do not hold my hand, as opposed to 30 years ago, if a 6-year-old girl said that, they would say, what are you talking about? You're a girl.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to hold your hand. That line is the most important line in the movie.
Yeah.
Where it inspires young girls to be like Rey.
Right.
To take charge like Rey, to be inspired by Rey. It's very, very important, and it's so great that it happens in a Star Wars movie where even a character like Leia was, I thought, very much pioneering for the time that she existed in. And Rey is given even more in this movie, because Leia, she was one of the main characters, but not the main characters.
Yeah.
This was a Rey movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it was I would argue it's Han Solo movie, but the argument can be made that it was built around Rey.
Yeah.
And what's going on with her. Of course, Han was a driving factor in it, but Rey was the movie. Along with, with Finn and with Oscar Isaac, so now and with Poe Dameron, so now you have a woman, a black guy, and a South American guy in the lead. So this movie, along with Rogue One, are making up for the fact that the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy were so white. We're so white.
Yeah.
So it's great, but they're not doing it in a way where it brings attention to the skin color or anything like that, but it's there. They don't have to tell us; they're just showing us that it's there, and it's not going to matter when little white kids watch this movie. They're not going to go, "Oh wow, why is there a black guy there?" They're going to go, "Oh wow, Finn is so cool."
Right.
It's
exactly.
not going to matter. It's not going to matter to them.
And they had chicks fighting, flying resistance fighter planes.
Yes.
That was new. That was exciting to me.
In the prequels, there were a few women fighters in there, but they were given like one line or so. And
this is more prominent. Yeah. They had that one Asian chick that was like badass.
Right, and there were women in the First Order as well, and in the Empire there weren't any at all. Speaking of women in the First Order, one of the things I don't like about this movie, I was very disappointed with the role of Captain Phasma. She's going to be back in Episode 8, so I'm hoping they make up for it. But they could have had... Remember when Finn was in the lightsaber fight with the Stormtrooper, and the Stormtrooper said traitor, and they fought each other with... Like, the Stormtrooper had this baton or something? That should have been Phasma. Or that could have been Phasma. Why not put Phasma there, not have her die, but have her at least do something? She didn't do anything in this movie. She really didn't have anything to do.
I feel like a character with her level in the First Order, like, it would have to be more substantial of an outcome. Like, they couldn't just... What are they going to do? Just, like, fight and then be done?
Well, fight, she's about to kill him, and then, something blows up and she has to run away. Something like that. But she didn't do it. And God, I forget the actress's name. But the actress who plays Phasma, she knows how to fight. Just from watching her in Game of Thrones, she knows how to do stage combat. So it would have been... It just would have been so much better. They didn't do anything with her. The fact that she rolled over... during the commentary, you said...
she rolled over.
She's not going to roll over for him. She fucking rolled over. She totally rolled over. And why didn't they at least kill her? They could have at least killed her, but no, they put her in a trash compactor to make, a stupid joke callback from Episode 4 when they were in the trash compactor. So that's like my...
Did they even put her in a trash compactor? I know they mentioned it, but I didn't show it.
They didn't show it, but they obviously did, because you didn't see her for the rest of the movie. So I'm hoping they give her more of a pronounced role. I think they will. There's a book, a novel about her, and it takes place while she's in the trash compactor, and then there's a comic about her too, so they're building her up. So I hope they have more for her to do, because she's such a great... I'm just blanking on her name, but she's such a great actress. What?
Is it Bree something?
Well, her character in Game of Thrones is Brienne.
Brienne's, that's
but
right.
They it was just a waste of a character, at least for...
Yeah, I love her.
At least for her. Yeah, she's great in Game of Thrones. What'd you think of Carrie Fisher's performance in this?
She seems very tired.
Tired?
Yeah.
Oh.
But, it could just be, her character's tired, not that she's tired.
Could be, yeah.
But,
yep.
I miss Carrie Fisher.
I know. Well, I mean, she filmed Episode 8, but they had to rewrite Episode 9. Yeah. So I don't know if they're going to kill her off at the end of Episode 8, or maybe kill her off at the beginning of Episode 9, but they're not going to hire a replacement for Carrie Fisher. They're rewriting the whole thing.
Yeah, I can't imagine trying to do that.
Yeah, yep. So, and what'd you think of, so you were surprised that Han died?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, during the commentary, I said that I wasn't, because I knew if Harrison Ford was brought back, they would have to kill Han off, because he wanted Han to die in Return of the Jedi, and he didn't get his wish. And it makes sense. It would have made sense for him to die in Jedi. I mean, I'm glad he didn't, but it would have made sense, because it would have and we spoke about this during our Return of the Jedi episode, but it would have given the movie more weight. It would have made it more tragic, more dangerous, showing the cost of war, and they didn't do that.
I think it was much, much more impactful to have him die the way he did than to die in Jedi.
Yes, yeah. So that's the one good thing about...
Because how else would they have Kylo Ren turn the page like that?
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, I hope they go a little bit into Kylo Ren's backstory, who Snoke is, how he was seduced by Snoke, how the First Order even formed, because they obviously didn't go into it in this movie. 30 years has gone by, so that's enough time to develop, a kind of army. It's a big galaxy. Maybe they were hidden away. Maybe one of the books explains how they were formed. I don't know. I was listening to my friend's podcast. It's called The Mobile Horror Companion. And my friend Glenn was on it, and the hosts of the podcast were interviewing Glenn. And Glenn kept saying, because, Glenn's, knows a lot of stuff about Star Wars, and he kept saying, oh, well, in the book, and this is what Glenn sounds like in real life. He says, oh, in the book, it explains that the Resistance is... And then my friend Brian goes, I don't care. Stop that. He's busting Glenn's balls, and he goes, Glenn... I didn't read any of these books. I don't know anything. Why didn't the fucking movie say that? Why didn't the movie say that? And Glenn's trying to explain. He's like, dude, the movie didn't say it. What are you doing? Mm-hmm. And Brian has a point, because it's I may know this because I read into Star Wars, but someone who just wants to watch the movies, they don't.
Exactly. Why should this even work?
Why does 3PO have a red arm? He's just there. And then it turns out, was it a way to sell a comic book and to, buy the comic book to figure out why he has a red arm?
That'd be so stupid.
It was a good story. It was cool, but it was a nice one-off, story about how he got that red arm. But
are you going to tell me the story, or are you going to find out later?
Yes, spoiler alert.
Okay.
From what I remember, I read it a while ago, but he met another droid. He lost his arm somehow. And then the droid, I think... I don't even remember, but I think the droid sacrificed himself.
What kind of story is this?
The droid sacrificed himself, and 3PO felt some kind of empathy for the droid, and then put his arm on as a tribute, or something like that. I don't know. I forgot. But my point is that we don't know. So there are so many little stories. The guy with the beard who's in every J.J. Abrams project, he's in one of the books as a kid. So all these little things. That's what's great about the Star Wars universe. You can make a story about any character that's, was in the movie for 5 seconds, and you can have a whole series just based on him.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, so okay, well, here is another inevitable question that I always ask. Now that you have seen Rogue One, Episode 4, 5, 6, and now Episode 7, how does The Force Awakens... You said that as of now, you like Return of the Jedi the best. How does this stack up to the Star Wars movies that you have seen? Go ahead.
I'm trying to decide if I want to put Rogue One ahead of Return of the Jedi.
Interesting.
But I think it's just because I like... Now that I've seen another one that's more modern, and I like it better, but I definitely want to put this second then.
So it's Rogue One, The Force Awakens, then Return of the Jedi?
Or Return of the Jedi first.
Return of the Jedi first.
I'm not really sure.
Okay. Well, after I saw The Force Awakens, I was like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I had to process. I'm like, I don't know.
I just saw it. I need to think.
Yeah. I loved it, but I'm like, I don't know what... I don't know where it goes. So... Oh, so let me tell you my my Force Awakens story. So I saw that, and I have you at full attention already.
Always.
Considering that yawn. It's 2 a.m. But
I had to drive to the Bronx this morning.
Yes. So, The Force Awakens was released December of 2015. And Return of the Jedi was released, I believe, in May of 1983. So how many years is that? Go ahead, Erin.
Say that again?
1983 to 2015. So we get 83, 93, 2003, 2000... 33 years.
33 years. Basically as long as I've been alive.
33 years. Well, you're older than 33 now.
I'm 34.
Yes, that's older than 33. So wait, so 83 to 2000, no, 32 years. Wait, 83, 93, 2003, 2000, yeah, 32 years. I can't believe we got the math wrong. Because it's 2015, so it's 32.
I'm going to wait for almost 24 hours. Leave me alone.
I have no excuse. It's 32 years. I literally had to wait 32 years. Erin waited like 2 weeks.
Uh-huh. That's another reason why I got so weirded out by certain things, like leaving loose ends, because I'm so used to all these movies having closure and never seeing the characters again, that, like, the idea that we might see these people in the next movie and that there's another movie coming is like, oh, snap.
Yeah, 32 years. Well, 32 years between Jedi and this. Now, I saw the prequels, but we're not talking about the prequels right now. We may not even say that the prequels existed. So 32 years to find out what... And the prequels were prequels. They were before all these movies, so I knew what was going to happen, obviously. I didn't know what was going to happen in this. So I waited 32 years. 32 years, of getting through all the different TV shows. I must have read about 100 Star Wars books that are now in the Legends canon, because those books took place after Return of the Jedi, but they're completely moot now. They're alternate universe because of The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens changed everything from those books. Those books were fantastic, especially the New Jedi Order books. Excellent stuff. But that's all there was back then. It was the books. So we never thought we would see this again. So then we heard they were making them, bringing the original characters back, and just for years went by, and the hype was getting greater and greater and greater and greater. So finally, the movie comes out. Like, I was working at a job I didn't like, and when you work at jobs you didn't like, or you go to school you don't like, and to get through a week can drag. So looking forward to a movie, but having to wait Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I saw it on Friday. I had friends who saw it on Thursday at midnight. I saw it on Friday because we wanted my nephew to get out of school. My nephew was 8. Yeah, my nephew was 8 at the time, so he had to get out of school. I took off work that Friday. My dad was retired. He took off work. My brother wasn't... He didn't have work to take off. Yeah. My brother doesn't work Fridays anyway. And my nephew was getting out of school. My dad got tickets like months in advance. I don't know. At a theater by my parents, they had the tickets already, like months in advance. And my dad went, because he's not working, and he got them. And then remember, I called my friend Glenn. Glenn's like, "Are you sure that's not counterfeit?" I said, "Dude, my dad got them from the fucking movie theater. Of course they're not counterfeit." He's like, "I don't know." I said, No. I said, if they're counterfeit, I'm going to burn the theater down. But no, we got it from the theater. And these weren't reserved seats, so we had to get there first come, first serve. So my dad and I get there like an hour and a half before the movie actually starts. And the movie's been playing for like almost 24 hours now. And everybody's being courteous who walk out of the theaters. We don't want to know anything. We don't know any spoilers. Yeah. So my dad and I are there. And we're like the first ones online. No, maybe the second. There might have been like a family ahead of us. And I saw Return of the Jedi with my dad, my brother, my cousin, and my mom in 1983. Now I'm seeing Return of the Jedi again with my dad, my brother, myself, and now my nephew. And this is his first time he's ever seen a Star Wars movie.
Force Awakens, not Return of the Jedi.
I'm sorry, yeah. So this is now the first time my nephew is seeing a Star Wars movie in a movie theater in his life.
Wow. In
his life. And he has grown up watching all the Star Wars movies, the prequels and the original trilogies. Trilogy over and over and over again. Over and over and over again. I love my nephew. I'm a proud uncle.
He didn't see Rogue One?
Oh, he saw Rogue One too. But no, Rogue One was released after The Force Awakens.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So, Rogue One was December 2016. Force Awakens was December 2015. So, maybe a half hour or so later, my nephew and my brother get there. And we're waiting. And, of course, that hour goes by like molasses. So, they let us in like a half hour or so before the movie. So, we're like... And the line is starting to form behind us. So, they let us go, and my nephew and I dart ahead of everyone, and I'm holding my nephew's hand because we want to get a good seat. We want to get a seat in the middle of the theater.
Right.
So I'm holding my nephew's hand, and while we're walking, we're humming the Imperial March, the dun 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 dun. So we're singing it as we're walking down the movie theater. So we find a good seat, and we're seeing this in 3D because that's the 3D IMAX because those are the tickets my dad got. Big screen 3D. We find a good seat, and now we have to sit through 9 billion trailers.
Yeah.
You know. So if the movie schedule starts at 8, it doesn't really start until 8:30. So after each trailer, it's like, come on! And then when another trailer comes on, it's like, ah.
Yeah.
So finally the movie starts. We see the crawl, and I'm just like, oh my god! It's just surreal. It's just surreal. It's so surreal. I start crying because I'm with my family. I'm in one of my favorite places in the world to be, a movie theater, and I'm watching my favorite series of movies ever. It's so much of who I am. It's why I became an actor. And I'll tell that story when we watch Episode 1.
Yeah.
Because we're going to watch the prequels too. I will set your I will set your expectations
Don't worry.
low. I will set your expectations low.
I know.
So it's why I'm an actor, and acting is so much a part of me as I am a part of acting. It's so much of who I am. Star Wars is so much who I am, and I'm seeing this with some of the people who I love and cherish the most in one of my favorite places. It's very overwhelming. So anytime we see something from the original trilogy, whether it's the Millennium Falcon, whether it's Han, Chewie, Leia, C-3PO, R2-D2, anybody, I start crying. And I have the 3D glasses on, and I'm crying. And I'm trying to wipe my tears through the glasses, and I'm overcome with just joy and emotion. Seeing my nephew when there's like a chase, and he goes, whoa, and woo, and cheering.
Yeah.
I'm just overwhelmed by so much happiness. And at this point in my life, things weren't necessarily going that well because I was working at a job I didn't like, and most of my waking hours were spent in a place I didn't want to be. It's a lot different now. I don't mind the job that I have now. I actually enjoy some parts of it. I'm a bartender. I was working in a cubicle farm at my old job, and even though acting's my passion and podcasting is my passion, I don't mind bartending. I actually enjoy it. It's fun. But back then it was a different story. I didn't know what I was doing, where I was going. And then here I'm sitting next to my nephew who has his whole life ahead of him. The choices he makes now could forge a path for his whole life, and I want to try and direct him to where it's like, just make sure you concentrate on what you want to do. Of course, get your school done, but concentrate on what you want to do. So we're watching the movie, and I'm not even caring that I'm not seeing the original characters because I'm enthralled with the new characters, and the way the action is and all that. And the scene where the lightsaber is being pulled out of the snow, my nephew, to himself, because it was loud. Well, first, when we found out that Kylo Ren is Han Solo's son, my nephew screams in the theater, I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! And I had to go shh. I had to shush him because he was just so loud. He was so excited. He's like, I knew it! So it was great seeing him so excited. So the pivotal scene where you see the lightsaber being pulled out of the snow, and it's Rey who catches it. Now, my nephew thought that Luke was going to make an appearance and rescue him. So while the lightsaber is being pulled, my nephew's saying to himself, please, Luke, please save us. Luke, he goes, Luke, save us. It's so funny how he's saying us, because he's thinking of the community. He wants, Luke to do it. He's so into the movie that he's talking to himself. He wasn't saying this to me. He was saying it to himself. So I turned to him when I heard that, and then when Rey caught it, we were like, yeah! And there's so many cheer-worthy moments in this movie. And then laugh-worthy moments with the droid. So it happens, and, the base gets blown up, and we see Luke at the end, and we're like, whoa, and we're not even mad that Mark Hamill didn't even have one line one line. I remember someone asked Mark Hamill, I said, well, what'd you think when you read the script for Force Awakens? And Hamill's answer was speechless. I was speechless. You get it?
He's funny.
Yeah. So it was so cool how, Luke wasn't even featured on the posters or in the trailers, and people were wondering why, and now you wonder why. And think of the payday Mark Hamill must have got. He probably got paid good money not to do anything in the movie.
I feel like it was kind of better that he didn't say anything.
Exactly right. I agree.
Yeah.
And it makes you want to see him in Episode 8 even more. And there's a trailer for Episode 8 where he's actually talking, and it's just like, oh my god, this is so cool. So when the movie ends, I turn to my nephew. First person I turn to. I don't turn to my dad. I don't turn to my brother. I turn to my nephew. And he looks at me, and he says, best Star Wars movie ever.
Aww.
So I go, yeah, and I was just so enthralled and so happy and so overjoyed. I forgot about all my problems. And I have a lot of problems. I forgot about all of them, because I was just so in the moment of watching that movie with him. And we leave the theater, and I turned to my nephew. I said, we can't talk about the movie right now. We can't, because there are people online waiting for it. They don't want to be spoiled. We have to be quiet. We can't say anything. So I'm trying to instill in my nephew that you can't spoil anything for people. So we go out of the theater, and then we get some food, and I even tell my nephew in the restaurant, I said, you can't talk about the movie in the restaurant. We have to talk about it in the car in case someone's waiting to see the movie. So he understood that. And then I think after the movie, I called you, and I said how great it was, and then I called my friend Glenn, said how great it was. Glenn tried to call me before the movie. He said, let me just tell you what I thought. I said, I don't even want to know if you think it's good. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
And then we talked about it. I listened to so many podcasts based on The Force Awakens to find some Easter eggs. They were already there online about the different Easter eggs. People just figuring them out. Because there was a few of them in there, and which was really cool. There was something else I wanted to say. Oh, okay. So that's my Force Awakens story. And people who criticize The Force Awakens, you're always going to have haters now, especially in the age of the internet. It could be the greatest movie ever, and people will find something to hate about it, or people just hate it in general. So a lot of people hated the fact that this movie was predictable because it copied Episode 4. It was kind of a mirror for Episode 4. Super weapon, the dark side character, hotshot pilot, force-sensitive user who's trapped on a planet, blah, 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 blah. I said this during our comments, and I'll say it now. It had to mirror Episode 4. It had to. And I'm saying that it had to because everybody was so... well, not everybody, but a good amount of people were disenchanted from those prequels that this had to be a way to draw people back. Mm-hmm. So I don't mind... that this was a mirror for Episode 4. I will mind if Episode 8 is a mirror for Empire Strikes Back. It has to forge its own path, but this laid the foundation. What do you think?
Well, I feel like Rogue One was so different that from any other movies that that kind of broke that streak. If Rogue One was mimicking anything else, then it would have been like, really, guys, come on.
Right. Well, you're in a unique position because you saw Rogue One first.
Yeah.
So, with most of the fans, maybe except for young kids, but even I think with young kids, my nephew, I showed him Episode 4, 5, and 6 first, then 1, 2, and 3, and then he saw Episode 7 and Rogue One. You're in the unique position where you saw Rogue One first, and then 4, 5, 6, 7. So, now you're going to see the prequels. So, and let me just briefly talk about the prequels before we end. I overall didn't like the prequels, but the prequels had some really, really, really good moments in them. Overall, they're not good as movies, but god damn, there are some great moments in it. So, that'll be the teaser for the prequels. So, do you have anything else to say? If you can give this movie 1 out of 4 stars, 4 being the best, what would you give it?
3.8?
3.8. All right. That's a good review.
I have a story.
Go ahead.
This isn't really about Star Wars, but the hand-holding thing reminded me of a time I was 19. and I was working at a Starbucks kiosk in Roosevelt Field Mall.
On Long Island.
And there was a shooting.
Long Island, New York.
And there was a shooting in the mall. And I was working with one other person, young guy, I think he was in high school. And of course it's horrifying, and everybody just runs. And the guy that I was working with took me by the hand, and we ran out together like that. And I felt very comforted by that. So the fact that she said you don't have to hold my hand, I understand that.
Mm.
But I hope that it doesn't, but people understand why he felt the need to.
Oh, sure.
And I mean, I can understand if she took offense to him doing that, but I also know that I was terrified, and I felt comfort in being grabbed by the hand before we ran out together to save our lives, for our dear lives.
Sure. Yeah, I think within the context
I know it's completely different.
Right, in the context of who the character Rey is, she's someone who's grown up on her own.
Yeah,
and
she's
has
a lot stronger
fought.
than I am.
Well, no. Just different situations. You're a very strong person. It's just physically and mentally. Believe me. But so you putting Rey's, I'm mansplaining now, but putting Rey's character in context makes sense that she would say.
Yeah,
don't
I know
hold
the
my
situation
hand.
completely different, but it just made me think of that, and then it made me kind of sad for Finn, because I didn't want him to look bad or people to think bad about him because he did that.
Yeah, but I mean, Finn had plenty of moments during the movie where
he's chivalrous. Whatever.
Yeah. What'd you think of the comedy in Episode 7?
What comedy?
You didn't think there was
barely any
in this movie? You didn't think there was that? You didn't think there was
really.
What about you didn't? You didn't notice when Finn gave BB-8 the thumbs up and BB-8 gave him the thumbs up?
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You didn't laugh.
Yeah, it wasn't funny.
Oh my god! Everybody in the theater laughed during that. I was cracking up. And then, just the timing with, with some of the lines Finn would say, I'm with the resistance. Things like that, I thought.
Yeah, sometimes he would be like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah,
funny.
John Boyega had really good comedic timing. And then, the lines by Han Solo, the line with Chewie, oh, what, you're cold?
Yeah, that was cute.
Yeah, just things like that. I thought it was funny, but not, trying to force you... To laugh, trying, no farting humor or,
yeah, well, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, stepping on Bantha crap humor. Jar Jar Binks kind of humor. It's it wasn't forced like that. So, it was genuine laughs. So, yep. Anything else before we end this?
No.
All right. So where can people find you, Erin?
Hopefully in bed soon. ERUNUEVO at Hotmail. On Twitter. Jesus Christ, I'm so tired. God, I'm always tired. I'm sorry, guys.
Hashtag Jesus Christ, I'm so tired.
Yeah, that too. I guess if you feel like looking for me on Facebook, but I have to improve anything you try to send me.
Oh. So, if you want to find Erin on Facebook, I wonder how many Erin news there are.
So, I think there might be a lot.
Oh, all right. Well, I mean, if you find her, find her on Twitter, and then you can DM her and say, hey, give me your Facebook address. Yeah. But be polite, you perverts.
Yeah, say something that makes me realize that you're not just another fucking spammer.
Yeah, and say, hey, I heard you on Music, Movies, and More podcast, and I really like what you have to say. So... if you like what I have to say, I'm Michael. God damn it, Erin. I'm Mike Lane. You can find me on Twitter at Mike Lane Act. That's MikeLaneAct. You can find me on Facebook at Mike Lane Actor. You can email me at MikeLaneAct@yahoo.com. Wherever you're listening to this, if you're listening to this on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, please comment, share. Spread the word, please.
Yeah, please.
Spread the word.
Let us know how you think we're doing, because we don't have any feedback, so...
I don't care if I have no feedback.
I do.
Erin does. I can be talking...
I want to make everybody happy.
I don't. I could be talking to an audience of 0, and I will still enjoy it. the fact that it's there for people to listen to if they want, that's my take. Erin has a completely different take, and that's fine. So, all right, everyone, stay tuned for the commentary or our comments, which will always takes me a while to edit, and may the Force be with you. And I'm going to get some water, because I've been talking a lot, and I talk a lot. Good night, everyone. Bye. Next stop, the prequels. Ha 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 ha. So we're going to hit play, and unlike the other ones that we've seen, because we watched the special editions, you're not going to get the THX anymore. Because this THX was that sound, because the DVDs I originally played were like from, the late 90s. Mm-hmm. So this is not. And this is the first Star Wars movie where George Lucas sold everything to Disney. So this is Disney's first foray into Star Wars moviedom. And you'll notice in the movie there's going to be, like Rogue One, there will be, I'm trying to think, as far as people of color. Well, I'm not going to say anything.
So one guy at least.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think that's that many yet.
So there's the Lucasfilm that's still there, even though Lucas has nothing to do with it. I think they just put that as, as a tribute.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be quiet so you have time to read the crawl.
I just feel like I have so many questions after reading the crawl.
Well, yeah. And hopefully the movie will answer them.
Yes. Patience is not a virtue I'm very good with.
As is tradition, a tilt down.
Mm-hmm. Looks like it's giving me the finger.
Uh-huh.
You can tell it's really different already, just the flickering lights and the sound.
Yep. And modern stormtroopers.
God damn, that's a cute little robot.
Yeah, just speak a little louder.
Okay. So just when I thought droids couldn't get any cuter.
Mm-hmm.
I think they one looks kind of like a snowman. Ooh, drugs.
This movie came to make things right.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real droid. That's not CGI.
Company.
What?
It's a real, tangible, practical droid. Done by remote control. Very World War II-like, except obviously the stormtroopers aren't the allies.
Yeah.
X-Wing. So, the voice, quote-unquote, of BB-8, a human spoke into a microphone and it was kind of run through computer effects. And the human that did the voice was Bill Hader.
Seems like a waste of money.
I'm sure he did it for cheap because he's a gigantic Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
That guy is Max von Sydow, a legendary actor. He was in The Exorcist, and a bunch of other movies. And his first line, like, now is the time to make things right. I think this, and fans have speculated that because of the prequel quality and the backlash, that first line was kind of a nod to that. Like, this is now it's the time to make things right.
Hold on to your hats, everybody. It's going to be an entertaining movie. Oh my god, they actually care about each other? Somebody's not really a stormtrooper. Because you have emotions.
You're so right.
Oh shit. No!
Look at that. Look at that.
That's bananas. Wow, he makes Vader look like nothing.
Yeah. Oh, so he's Oscar Isaac, and he's South American, so a person of color in a prominent role.
Yeah, I noticed that in the beginning.
Yeah.
Wow, woman.
Yeah.
Oh no, come on now. I'm surprised they didn't try to market droids like that. They could make one,
What, as a toy?
Yeah.
Oh my god, you better believe it. There are so many BB-8 toys out there now that can go by remote control, that can be controlled by your smartphone.
Oh, really?
Oh my god. Yeah.
So much I know.
So blaster for inspection, they want to make sure he's fired.
Oh, right.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Sand people? That reminds me of the sand people.
Similar. Yeah.
Wow, that set stage must have been huge. That they had the guy rappelling down.
Yeah.
But
Guy.
I mean girl.
Guy, you say?
Just kidding.
Whee!
Fun. That kind of looks really fun. I wonder where they shot this.
I forgot. Oh, One of the Middle Eastern countries. Might have been Dubai?
That's what I just said.
Oh, is that what you said?
I said Dubai, just because I just guessed. That's cool.
That was a puppet.
Oh, wow.
Practical effects. Not subtle whatsoever.
What do you mean?
She's looking at an older woman and seeing herself in that older woman. Probably thinking, I don't want to be this.
Yeah.
He's Simon Pegg.
Oh, okay.
Under a crap load of makeup.
Yes, and prosthetics.
Mm-hmm. Very Tatooine-like, but not Tatooine.
What? That's awesome. I want to do that. The powder that bakes your bread. That's crazy.
It's a heck of a house.
Yeah. I didn't realize there was that much space inside of that for, like, ability to live.
Yeah, those walkers are huge.
Yeah.
Beautiful new TIE fighters.
Yeah, wow.
I've always wanted to fly one of these things. Can you shoot? Last as I can. Okay, same principle.
And it's the first time actually being inside of one like that.
Good point, yes. I always wanted to see what they were like inside. Or wondered why they hadn't done it sooner. Oh, that's unfortunate.
I can fix this.
The guy who spoke first was in Game of Thrones.
He looks familiar.
Yeah. He played Jojen.
If you guys feel like commenting, let us know if you want to hear some Game of Thrones podcasts as well. Because I only got through like the first season and a half and then kind of tried to catch up recently.
The guy who is the stormtrooper is really British.
This was his first offense.
It's so random and he would just randomly like be moral.
Mm-hmm.
Send a squad to
So the woman behind the shiny stormtrooper, she's in Game of Thrones as well. She plays Brienne, the tall blonde woman.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I knew that voice sounded familiar. Uh-oh.
So the very first scene of the very first Force Awakens trailer, it showed Finn, and of course all the racists started to cry.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Remember what Rey said about avoiding a certain spot because the sand's gonna swallow you?
Oh, shit.
That was it.
Holy fuck. So much for knowing what the hell he's supposed to be doing. Well, I can understand getting rid of the stormtrooper attire because it's hot as hell in the desert. First of all, he's wearing all black. That's dumb.
Well, that's all the clothes he has.
I just take your fucking clothes off. It's hot. But also, I feel like that outfit is a get out of everything card. You can pull off a lot of shit, you know, if you have that on.
Programmed from birth.
They should have no problem retrieving the droid.
You said programmed from birth.
Yeah.
Your personal
What about the guy, right?
orders from Leader Snoke.
He's talking about the stormtroopers.
Yeah.
That's another puppet.
It's like me when I drink water. It's like, oh, hell no. Nobody smacks around a woman.
Very, very important line. Very important line.
Okay.
I know how to run without you holding my hand.
Yeah.
That's, you have a woman telling a man, I don't need you to lead me anywhere. I'm mansplaining right now.
They're shooting at both of us.
Yeah.
And she gives him her hand.
Yes.
The garbage will do.
Look familiar?
Yes.
The whole theater just went, whoa!
He's been trained since birth and doesn't know how to pilot a ship.
He's been trained as a stormtrooper, not as a pilot.
I mean, they should be well-rounded.
Well, that's like saying, the Army should learn how to fly a plane like the Air Force does.
Lucky it was healed up. Oh, wow.
Call back to Episode 4. That's the gun. Luke and Han were on those guns when they escaped the Death Star.
I feel like the droid should be able to co-pilot. But that's just me.
We were unable to acquire the droid on
They
Jakku.
look like Nazis.
Yeah.
It escaped capture aboard a stolen Carillion YT model freighter.
I mean, Lucas based the Empire on the Nazis.
We We have no confirmation, but we believe FM-2187 may have helped in the escape.
Oh. That's gonna be expensive.
What?
That's gonna be expensive to fix.
Someone's locked onto us. All controls are overridden.
No.
Oh no.
Fuck. Oh shit. Don't blast the toxins yet.
Chewie. We're home.
The movie theater applauded.
I bet.
Wasn't he a war hero?
This is a ship that made the Kessel run in 14 parsecs.
12!
What about the Raftars? Where are you keeping them?
Oh shit.
Yes, I do. Every time.
That's the Harrison Ford point. He does that in a lot of movies where
Yeah,
he's
he
point-
does.
Yeah. It shows what a swindler Solo is, what a con man.
Not very good at it, apparently. That was a bad idea. If they could just go ahead and close that one little section, that would be great.
That was probably a direct response to, Greedo shooting first line, just to hammer home. Remember in Star Wars Episode 4 where it showed Greedo shooting first?
Yeah.
So what Han did feeding a guy to the Rathtar showed how ruthless Han Solo is. How he's willing to kill people.
He wasn't one of his crew members, right?
No. But just what, Solo's a killer. And they want to establish that. Well, you're right.
Kinda.
With the door!
That was lucky.
She should have said you're welcome.
I got the door! Cover us! You okay?
Nobody fuck with Chewie. Oh god. He probably weighs like 300-400 pounds.
Yeah.
I never asked that question until after I've done it.
Christ.
This is not how I thought this day was gonna go.
Angle the shields. Hang on back there! No problem!
That was the training ball from Episode 4. There's little Easter eggs in this movie. So if you've seen the original trilogy 9 billion times like I have, you start to recognize that. But if you didn't, it's still okay.
Luckily, I have you to point things out that I don't understand or see.
Inform the First Order that Han Solo has the droid they want. And it's aboard the Millennium Falcon.
Fuck you. It's like when you have a lot of their ships look like...
Lost Jedi.
They look like planets, but they have that random, cutout piece in the middle. And exposes their roboticness inside.
You Jedi will rise.
I think I had a nightmare that looked like that recently.
In the hands of your father,
What?
Solo.
Oh snap.
In the theater, my nephew started screaming out loud, I knew it! I knew it! I knew it!
I didn't.
Yeah.
I guess he's Leia's kid too. That's why he has Force. That's so strong. That's what I would assume. The genetic thing gives it away.
Move, ball. Another tribute to Episode 4, because R2-D2 and Chewbacca were playing that game.
Right.
So Han in Episode 4 went to being the skeptic to now full-fledged. Well, because there's evidence about the Force, so...
You see it so many times.
Yeah.
Scotland?
I don't know.
I like that outfit.
Yeah.
I could totally wear that for Halloween.
Solo. I'm not sure who we're walking into. You just call me Solo? Sorry, Han. Women always figure out the truth. Always.
Oh shit. She's gonna be
What
pissed.
is this?
It's their version of the cantina scene from Episode 4.
I was gonna say.
Jabba's palace.
Han Solo!
Uh-oh.
The voice of Maz is Lupita Nyong'o from 12 Years a Slave.
Motherfucker! Oh wait, the Resistance. Just kidding. Brain fart.
But...
Uh-oh. turn to light at the end. Why would you be doing that?
Well, he's praying to Vader and not Anakin.
I like her face.
She's CGI, but she was supposed to be a puppet, but there wasn't enough time, so they had to do CGI.
Dragon fruit.
Mm-hmm.
I love that shit. So good. That's not dragon fruit, it's a horny melon. Sorry. Oh, I think that is a dragon fruit too, actually.
Who's the girl?
They make some beautiful babies. Just saying. That was convenient.
Yeah, they're definitely not subtle in this.
Of the Republic!
Oh shit.
Yep. So fans criticize this because they're saying, oh, it's another super weapon, and they're copying Episode 4, and it's not original. But my argument is they had to at least rhyme with Episode 4 to bring back the fans who were disenchanted by the prequels.
What do you mean rhyme?
Rhyme meaning that there are certain parallels in this movie when you compare it to Episode 4. There's a lot of similarities. So it's not exact duplicates, but it rhymes with each other. So you have the Death Star, and then you have this super weapon. You have a main character who's stuck on a planet and wants to get off, but there's reluctance. So you have Rey compared with Luke. You have the old wise man, Han Solo. You compare him to Ben Kenobi, Maz Kanata, who's the Lupita Nyong'o, the little being. She's like the Yoda type, so, it's all these little similarities. But that weapon blew up like 5 planets at once, as opposed to the Death Star.
I mean, they had a lot of time on their hands. They might as well develop a super weapon.
Now, it's called Star Killer Base, and Star Killer was Luke Skywalker's original name when George Lucas wrote the first script of Star Wars. He was known as Luke Star Killer. So that's why they named it that.
Star Killer is way not good for a hero. I like Skywalker way better.
Yep. Very Apocalypse Now.
Find your friend.
She couldn't just tell the short version?
I know, right? I'm very surprised Chewie gave that up.
KK-338, we have targets in custody.
Quick.
Damn, that's some pretty good shooting.
Yeah. The Force is a lot more violent in this movie as opposed to any of the others.
Her mind's weak, she can't block anything out.
Or Kylo Ren's really strong.
Solo, it is I, C-3PO. You probably don't recognize me because of the red arm.
What?
So it is. Did you see who?
Poe was the guy that you kept saying, oh wow, nice shot.
Sorry to interrupt.
That was him leading the mission.
He needs to talk to you.
I know who he is. He's got the movie.
So they're equating it to a death,
I know. Just like with Vader and Anakin.
Right. But like how usually when parents lose a child, it's common that they separate.
Divorce, yeah. It's kind of counterintuitive.
It just, they look at each other and they're reminded, because the child looks like them, and it just brings back too much. And it's just obviously just unimaginable.
You all friends.
So at least this guy looks good. As opposed to all the other guys. With mask and they're like gross inside.
Huh? The voice of Snoke is the guy who was Gollum in Lord of the Rings. Andy Serkis.
Makes sense.
And you'll drop your weapon?
And I'll drop my weapon.
That stormtrooper is played by Daniel Craig. James
What?
Bond. Yeah.
Why did they spend that much money?
It's not. They're doing it for nothing, probably, or very, very little. They just want to be in a Star Wars movie. And it's a nice little story.
Yeah, we're just gonna not go over there now. He's having another temper tantrum.
Yes, sir.
So it draws power from the sun.
Reconnaissance flight confirms Finn's report.
Or sun.
Created a hyper-light speed weapon built within the planet itself.
Oh.
A laser cannon.
Yeah, that guy's in like every J.J. Abrams project.
They have defensive shields that our ships cannot penetrate.
Oh, that's Admiral Akbar from Return of the Jedi.
It's like Luke knocked somebody up. She's just gonna roll over and let him do that? Is that supposed to be the same dude with the weird face? The weird creepy face?
What?
One of the Resistance guys that's not a person. It's a thing. That guy.
Yeah, it's from...
Is it the same one?
Yeah, from Return of the Jedi,
Okay.
yeah. It's Nine Numb.
I was gonna say, funny that they always have one of those guys.
As long as there's light, we got a chance.
Their little weaponry is not enough to...
They named him Ben. This should have been the first time we saw his face. It would have been more powerful.
True. No, don't do it. Don't do it, please. Oh. I knew he was gonna do that.
He's not coming back from that.
Fuck.
Our friend Mike, he can't watch this scene. Because Han Solo's like his favorite character ever. And he can't watch it. My nephew, on the other hand, has played this scene over and over and over and over again. I think he's dark side. Good shot, Chewie. I knew Han was going to die. I didn't know anything about this movie before seeing it, but I knew the only way Harrison Ford would do this movie is if Han would die in it. Because he wanted him to die in Jedi, but he didn't get his wish. So I knew it. Still sad. You alright?
Maybe.
I mean, something major had to happen for this to have any impact.
How'd you get there so fast?
Ren has been shot, so he is at half his power.
Oh, fuck. It's resisting you. Right?
So, at this scene, my nephew was talking to himself. He was saying, Luke, save us! Luke, you have to save us! And I think people in the audience thought that was Luke.
Yeah.
But it was, so when Ray did that, we were like, fuck! But my nephew just to himself was going, please, Luke, save us! He was saying us. It was the cutest thing. The guy who plays Hux, the guy who just said that, was in a great Black Mirror episode.
It looks like, I think he's been in other stuff too.
He was in Ex Machina. He was in the Angelina Jolie movie about the World War II prisoner of war. He's been in a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
I mean, it's secondary to the plot, but it was relatively easy to do what they did.
I don't know.
I mean, they lost a lot of pilots.
It required a lot of power to destroy it. It was so big.
Yeah. But it wasn't the main... Like, the Death Star was the main opposition. Starkiller Base kind of wasn't.
It's all potential, right?
I mean, this is the real point of conflict.
Oh, yeah. It's so weird that it's like a planet on like a thing.
Yeah.
You need a teacher.
No, they
I can show you.
they drilled into the planet, so they built in the planet.
Oh. I thought they built the planet on top of it.
No.
Okay.
So they restructured the planet. Now, where his face is sliced, that's where Han last touched him.
Okay.
So, cool storytelling. Alright, let's skedaddle.
It is time to complete his training.
What? No, he can't be dead. No. God damn it. Hey, Chewie. Wanna give me a ride? Chewie without Han is like...
Yeah.
It's like peanut butter without jelly.
Mm-hmm. Again, relatively easy to destroy. But, again, wasn't the main source of conflict, so they get a pass. But it was, they didn't have any shields. It was just,
Yeah, they had to go on the planet and fucking save
I
them.
know, but it was a small band of people. It would have been better if they had a, maybe like a fifth column within
I don't know, man. The last
First
one was
Order.
just disable the shield and shoot one little spot. This
if they
was
had
like
spies.
disable the shield and shoot the thing a million fucking times. because it's way not going to get done. But,
Yeah, it just-
and you had to blow it up from the inside.
It seemed
on
a
top of it.
lot easier
I don't know about that.
than the Death Star. Alright, this was a huge mess up, and J.J. Abrams admitted it. Why doesn't Leia hug Chewie? Why does she go to Rey to hug her? She should have hugged Chewie after all the years they spent together. Chewie was much closer to Han than Rey was to Han. So it was J.J. Abrams even admitted that was a mistake.
Oh, I figured
See?
it was because there was something else with them. Like, I don't know.
No, it should have been Chewie hugging Leia.
Yeah. That is weird. And you think that maybe they knew each other? Hey, bro, what's up? Let's party. Oh my god, they're shaking up like you. Apparently droids can suffer from depression.
What? How dare you call me that?
Now, how 3PO got his red arm was told in a comic book. I believe that's in Ireland.
It might be the Erin Islands.
I don't think so. I forgot the name of it.
Did she upgrade her outfit?
Yeah?
Damn, his eyes are so blue.
He's around the same age that Alec Guinness was when Alec Guinness played Obi-Wan.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. So now I'm just going to do plugs again because it's just marketing and advertising, man. That's how we get the hits. So, I'm making myself laugh. Anyway, you can follow Erin at ERunNuevo on Twitter. That's ERUNUEVO. And I am Mike Lane. You can follow me on Twitter at Mike Lane Act. That's MikeLaneAct. I'm on Facebook at Mike Lane Actor. And you can email me at MikeLaneAct@yahoo.com. Subscribe on Podbean, iTunes, Stitcher. Please share, comment, go on YouTube. Mike Lane 1 is my username, the number 1. All the links can be found in any podcast descriptions anywhere. So, this is like the third or fourth goodbye that I'm doing on this podcast. Actually, it's probably like the second. So I'm going to try to limit the goodbyes until the very end, unless Erin wants to say goodbye. I don't know. This is a work in progress. So anyway, thank you for progressing with us, and hope that you listen next time. And there'll be a lot of next times, so I'm looking forward to doing them, and hopefully you look forward to listening to them. So, on that note, may the Force be with you, and goodbye for now.